Hey Lee, lovely to talk to you, and thank you very much for sending me your request message. I love your idea. What a great idea! What a lovely thing to think of, and I hope all these things cheer you up. I took your advice. I'm I don't know if I can get this in walking the dog. I do have a dog, and so I thought, yeah, let's do dog walking exactly as you asked. Now, the problem is, of course, you're saying, come on, you're an actor, you'll be able to think of something entertaining and fun. Well, I think a lot of actors, myself included, are given words to say normally. I'm not very good at making up my own dialogue, but I'll give it a go. But I just wanted to say I think it's a really lovely idea, and I hope these 30 random messages do cheer you up. If you're down, you may not be down, but life is tough, isn't it? And it's full of challenges, and so ups and downs are par for the course. But I was thinking about that, I quite like that's probably not the right way of putting it, but I don't object to the ups and downs of life, because that thing about that some people say one thing can't exist without another. If everyone in the world was always obese, let's say, that's random, like out of thin air, but if everyone in the world was obese, no one would be obese, because there'd be no one skinny to compare them to. So obesity would just be normal, they wouldn't be obese. Or if everyone was happy, there'd be no happiness, because without sadness or anger or whatever to compare it to, everyone would just be happy. That would be normal, and normal happy would be boring and probably not desirable. So yeah, I think we need the ups and downs a little bit. I mean, they get grating and wearing, and I'm trying to decide which way I should go from here. I can't be bothered to carry the dog over that stile. I'm going to march across the crops here. So I quite like that. I quite like the idea of the variety of life, that it's always changing and it's always different, and our moods change, and it means that when the highs come, the highs are really cherished and valuable, and the lows are very tough, or can be very tough. But one thing I do love is I love that we are social beings. We need each other. I remember this is actually nothing that I was intending to talk about here, but I was so lucky. My wife and I, we went to Uganda. We used to travel a lot when we were younger. We had no commitments and stuff, so we used to travel a lot. Went to Uganda, and there was this place we read about, which was a chimpanzee sanctuary, orphanage for chimpanzees who'd lost their homes for whatever reasons, probably poaching and deforestation, that kind of awful stuff. And you could go and visit with these chimpanzees. And I remember it wasn't very, it was quite expensive, because the money you're paying keeps the orphanage going. And so in the middle of Lake Victoria, which is huge, I don't know if you've been, but it's a huge lake, you go on a boat for maybe an hour and a half out into the lake, and there's an island called Ngamba Island, and on this island it's just inhabited by a few carers, and then hundreds and hundreds of these poor chimpanzees who are really funny, really sweet, and really funny, and really naughty, and very much like us. One of the things you do, you stay in a tent, and one of the things you do is you go off walking with them into the forest, and then down to a beach. And when you're walking through the forest, they're playing with you, and they're, up in the trees and jumping down and making you carry them and asking you to resolve little arguments between them and all that sort of stuff. Very sweet, but really manipulative and naughty, really like us. But then when you sit down by the water on the beach and you're just looking out to the horizon, they come and sit with you, and they take it in exactly the same way that we we look at that kind of view, just like slightly in awe, very peaceful, very zen moment. And when you're sitting there, the little ones come over and they sit on you and cuddle you, and then they start grooming you, start trying to look for like whatever it is, lice or ticks or whatever on you, and start going through your hair and pulling stuff out, and it's so sweet, and they're so sociable, such social animals, and it so reminds me of that's what we're like. Although we're very complicated and we make things very weird and difficult for ourselves, we need each other, and I love that. I love that we need each other. And the world is slightly strange at the moment because, I don't know, culture wars, we're in a bit of a state of flux, we're polarised, we're pulled apart, and none of it, I think, is particularly really our concern, is it? It's stuff we're triggered to feel passionate about, but really when we sit down with each other, we're reminded that we're like the chimpanzees sitting by the water, and we need each other. I love it. I think that's really sweet about us, and I hope you have people. I have people, but it made me think. Have you heard that thing about? This is what I was wondering about saying. I don't know if it's really boring. I hope not. Like I said, I need a script writer. I saw this guy. American guy, I think you're American maybe, I don't know, I think you're American. This guy was sitting down and he was saying, he held up an old-fashioned, normal wooden pencil, yellow pencil, graphite, and with a brass ring and an eraser on the end, a rubber on the end, I don't know what you call it in America, I can't remember, eraser. And he said there's no single human being who could make this pencil, which initially I thought, it's got to be pretty easy. I could probably go and knock one up right now. But he said no, because the wood that made it probably comes from a tree that was cut down on the other side of America. It was sawn down with a blade made of steel, which is mined and refined from iron. So they've mined iron and they've refined it and made steel and then cut it into a blade, into a saw. And someone sawn a tree down. See, I need a writer. And there's your wood. That takes hundreds and hundreds of people to get that process done. Then there's the lead, which is made of graphite, compressed graphite. That probably comes from South America somewhere, again in a mine, which takes hundreds, maybe thousands of people to mine. Then all the machinery involved that needs compressing it and shaping it and forming it and getting it into the perfect sort of cylindrical shape that will go through the wood of the pencil, which also has to be perfect, again with machines. And then there's this, what a very unusual caterpillar. Looks like a yellow jacket. Here, look, I'll show you. Here, don't know if you can see that. Very beautiful. Probably going to attack me now. And then, yeah, he's saying the brass bit that holds the eraser on, mined from somewhere else in the world. And then the eraser from the gum of the rubber tree, probably from a tree in Malaysia on the other side of the world. But the rubber tree, he said, comes from South America, and it was brought to Malaysia, where now all the kind of rubber seems to come from. Something to do with the British government bringing it over. And again, another process, another thing that took hundreds of years to figure out, another thing no single human being could do. And he said all these people, hundreds, maybe thousands of people, who don't speak the same languages or practice the same religions, who might not even like each other if they spent time with each other, have collaborated in some way to make this really simple pencil become a reality that costs what? Cents, pennies. And I don't know, I thought that might be slightly a beautiful way of illustrating that we, even when we don't know it, that we need each other. And it makes the world kind of special, makes our relationship special. So yeah, I wondered if that might be a little heartwarming, a little interesting. I thought that was quite interesting. But yeah, anyway, I might have hit sort of, I'm over 10 minutes and I don't want to bore you. And I'm nearly back at the beginning with my pooch. So my dog will be very grateful as well that you've asked me to do this. But listen, Lee, I hope you're very well, mate. I hope this message in some way cheers you up or makes you go, huh, or maybe not. And then you should just let me know that never ever say words that haven't been written for you by some brilliant writer. But yeah, you take care of yourself, Lee, and thank you so much for reaching out. And I'm wishing you all the best from slightly chilly evening in the UK. Take care, buddy. Bye.